Did you know that the key to your personal style could be hidden in your face? The unique facial features that you have gives off a distinct energy, and that energy can be reflected in the outfits you choose for looks that feel authentic and effortless. Today, I'm breaking down the 7 Kitchener Essences to help you understand your natural presence and help you align your wardrobe with your true self. By the way, I'm Lizzie, and my goal is to teach you to become your own personal stylist. On this channel, we break down topics like color analysis, body type, essences, and celebrate everything that makes you unique so that you can feel authentic and confident in your style.
Now let's dive into the Kitchener Essence system. The Kitchener Essence system is a style framework that helps individuals understand how their unique physical traits, most specifically their facial features, influence the clothing styles that best suit them. The system was developed by style expert John Kitchener, and he identified 7 distinct essences, each representing a combination of characteristics that shape an individual's ideal wardrobe. By recognizing your essences, you can make clothing choices that feel authentic, comfortable, and in harmony with your personality, leading to a more confident and effortless style. Each of the 7 essences falls somewhere along a spectrum from yang to yin. At one end, we have yang, which represents bold, structured, intense energies. At the other end, we have yin, which is soft, delicate, and gentle. Where you fall on this spectrum influences whether you look best in sharp, dramatic styles on one end, soft, flowing shapes on the other, or somewhere in between. The 7 essences in order from most yang to most yin are dramatic, gamine, natural, classic, romantic, ingenue, and ethereal. Let's go through each essence in detail.
Individuals with dramatic essence have sharp, striking, and angular facial features. They often have high cheekbones, a strong jawline, deep-set eyes, and a bold brow structure. And they have high contrast in their facial features, making their expressions feel powerful, intense, and commanding.
Dramatic essence is bold, intense, and high impact. These individuals naturally stand out and exude confidence and sophistication. Their style is often described as edgy, sleek, and fashion-forward, favoring strong, structured shapes that enhance their commanding presence. In terms of silhouettes, they prefer sharp tailoring, exaggerated shoulders, and sleek lines, so think power suits and structured coats. For fabrics, they prefer bold, structured fabrics like leather, wool, and satin. In terms of prints, you might see them in geometric or abstract patterns and high-contrast monochrome outfits. Common colors that you might see in the dramatic essence are black, white, jewel tones, and striking deep shades. And in terms of accessories, they often are in statement jewelry, bold handbags, strong eyewear, and pointed toe shoes.
Individuals with Gamine Essence have been described to have youthful, animated, and somewhat mischievous facial features. Their faces are often petite and slightly angular, with bright, expressive eyes, a small or upturned nose, and a defined jawline. Their expressions tend to be lively, playful, and energetic, giving them a naturally youthful and spirited look.
The Gamine Essence is spunky, youthful, and full of personality. These individuals exude confidence, charm, and a hint of rebelliousness. Their style is often a mix of bold, fun, and slightly androgynous elements, favoring shorter silhouettes and high-contrast details. For silhouettes, you might see them in things like crop jackets, slim-fitting trousers, and other structured yet playful pieces. For fabrics, they may prefer crisp cotton, tweed, and lightweight knits with some structure. For prints, you might see them in bold stripes, checks, polka dots, and other quirky patterns. For colors, they prefer high-contrast combinations, think black and white, navy and red, and other bright pops of color. For accessories, they like small statement accessories, things like berets, suspenders, ankle boots, and fun earrings.
Individuals with natural essence have strong, slightly rugged yet approachable features. Their bone structure is often broad or square, with slightly prominent cheekbones, a wider forehead, and a well-defined jawline. Their eyes may have a slightly deeper set or warm, inviting shape, contributing to their effortlessly friendly look. Their expressions tend to be easygoing and relaxed.
Natural essence is grounded, effortless, and laid back. These individuals appear approachable and exude an easy confidence. They favor relaxed, practical styles over anything too stiff or structured. Their energy is often described as earthy, outdoorsy, and casual, with a preference for comfortable, functional clothing that allows for freedom of movement. In terms of silhouettes, they often prefer looser, slightly oversized, or relaxed pieces. For fabrics, they prefer textured fabrics like linen, cotton, denim, and wool blends that provide a natural feel. You might see them in subtle, organic prints such as plaid, stripes, and earth tone florals. For colors, they prefer earthy neutrals, think olive green, brown, beige, denim blue, and soft muted tones. For accessories, you might see them in simple leather or wooden jewelry, crossbody bags, and comfortable shoes like loafers or boots.
Individuals with a classic essence are known for their symmetry, so think of symmetrical, balanced features that create a timeless or harmonious look. Their faces tend to be oval or heart-shaped with soft but well-defined bone structure. Their eyes, nose, and lips are proportionate with no feature dominating. Their expressions are often poised, composed, and polished, contributing to an air of refined elegance.
The classic essence exudes composure and sophistication. These individuals naturally carry an air of poise and grace, making them appear effortlessly polished. Their demeanor is refined and traditional, favoring subtlety over excess. They are drawn to clean, structured looks that feel timeless rather than trendy. In terms of silhouettes, they often prefer tailored, structured, and well-fitted pieces that emphasize balance, for example, A-line dresses, blazers, and tailored trousers. In terms of fabrics, they prefer high-quality, smooth, and structured fabrics, for example, wool, silk, cashmere, and cotton. They also prefer minimalistic or classic prints, such as pinstripes, houndstooth, and subtle plaids. In terms of a color palette, they often prefer a refined palette of neutrals, so navy, black, white, beige, and soft grays. For accessories, they prefer elegant, understated jewelry, so for example, small pearls or gold studs, structured handbags, and refined leather shoes.
Individuals with romantic essence have soft, rounded, and feminine facial features. Their facial structure is curvier rather than angular, with full lips, large expressive eyes, rounded cheeks, and softly contoured bone structure. Their expressions are warm, inviting, and sensuous, naturally drawing people in.
Romantic essence is warm, feminine, and sensual. These individuals exude an air of charm, grace, and softness. Their energy is gentle yet alluring, making them appear approachable and nurturing. They favor flowing, curvaceous styles that enhance their natural softness rather than sharp, structured clothing. For silhouettes, you might see them in outfits that are fitted at the waist, curvaceous designs like wrap dresses, pencil skirts, and off-the-shoulder tops. For fabrics, they may prefer soft, flowing materials like silk, chiffon, and satin. For prints, you might see them in florals, clothing with lace details, and other feminine, delicate designs. For colors, they prefer romantic hues, think blush pinks, reds, jewel tones, soft pastels, as well as black. Accessories can be soft, feminine, and ornate, for example, delicate or vintage-inspired jewelry, lace accents, floral motifs, and elegant or strappy heels.
Individuals with an ingenue essence have delicate, youthful, and doll-like facial features. Their faces often have small, rounded bone structure, soft cheeks, large, round, or upturned eyes, a small nose, and a gently curved mouth. Their expressions naturally convey innocence, sweetness, and charm, making them appear youthful even as they age.
The Ingenue Essence is soft, delicate, and charming. These individuals have a natural sweetness and an understated elegance that feels gentle and graceful rather than bold or dramatic. Their style is dainty, feminine, and nostalgic, often reminiscent of vintage or fairy tale aesthetics. In terms of silhouettes, those with an Ingenue Essence prefer fitted, small-scale designs with soft waist emphasis, flared skirts, and puffed sleeves. In terms of fabric, they prefer lightweight and airy fabrics like chiffon, lace, cotton, and tulle. You might see them in small florals, delicate polka dots, lace details, and embroidery. For colors, they prefer soft pastels, cream, blush, light blue, and gentle muted tones. For jewelry, they prefer small, dainty jewelry, so pearls, lockets, charm bracelets. They also wear things like ballet flats, bows, small handbags, and headbands.
Individuals with an ethereal essence have otherworldly, delicate, and elongated facial features. Their faces often have high cheekbones, almond or wider set eyes, a long, graceful nose, and a softly sculpted jawline. Their expressions tend to be serene, mysterious, and slightly dreamy, contributing to an otherworldly quality.
Ethereal Essence is mystical, elegant, and transcendent. These individuals seem timeless, almost fairy-like, with an air of quiet wisdom and grace. Their style leans toward flowing, draped, and slightly unstructured designs that evoke a sense of movement and fluidity. In terms of silhouettes, you might see them in flowing, asymmetrical, and elongated designs. Think draped gowns, layered skirts, and waterfall sleeves. For fabrics, they prefer sheer, weightless fabrics like chiffon, silk, and gauze. You might see them in soft celestial or watercolor prints or ethereal abstract patterns. For colors, they prefer muted, luminous, and iridescent shades, so silver, pearl, soft blues, and lavender. For accessories, they prefer delicate, metallic, or crystal jewelry. You might see them in things like long scarves, ethereal headpieces, and flowing capes.
Now that we've gone through all 7 essences, it's time to find your unique blend. And while there's not a specific number that you need to have, I would personally recommend identifying 3 primary essences. Because we ultimately want to use our essences to make style choices, having 3 allows you to create a balanced, cohesive wardrobe with some flexibility without being too overwhelming. However, if you go through these exercises and feel like you want to include less or more, by all means do that. Okay, so to define your essences, I created a step-by-step guide that we're going to be going through in the remainder of this video, but if you haven't clicked into it yet, check the description or the comments section, because for a few of the exercises, I'm going to have you enter your photos into this guide and compare your pictures to the other pictures there. So go ahead and check the description and the comments for the link so that you can follow along with the rest of this video.
The first option is to choose your essences based on your facial structure and energy. This is the most traditional method and aligns with the Kitchener Essence system that we've been learning about. So we'll analyze your facial features to see which essences align with your natural lines and overall presence. The second option is to choose your essences based on your personality. In my opinion, your inner essence matters just as much as your appearance. We'll explore how your personality traits might influence the essences that feel most natural to you. The third option is to choose your essences based on your current style preferences. If you already have a strong sense of what you love to wear, this method helps refine your essences based on the styles you naturally gravitate toward. And the fourth option is a mix of the above. This is the most well-rounded approach, combining facial analysis, personality, and style preferences for a personalized result.
I'm going to walk you through all of these options, starting with how to take photos so that you can use them to analyze your facial features and the energy you give off. And if you want to skip that step, you can feel free to skip ahead at any point.
Go ahead and pause the video now to follow the step-by-step instructions for taking your 2 photos.
Now that you have your 2 photos, we're going to use photo number 1, the non-smiling photo, to analyze key aspects of your face.
First, I'm going to try to get an overall impression of my facial features by asking myself a few questions, and then I will compare my face to other faces within each essence category. Some of the initial questions that I might ask myself are: 1, does my face appear more angular with defined, sharp, sculpted lines, or is it more soft and rounded? In terms of my bone structure, what do I notice about my cheekbones and jawline? Are my cheekbones high? Do I have a strong jawline or defined chin? Or does my bone structure appear more soft and rounded? And lastly, how about my eyes, nose, and lips? Are my eyes large and expressive or smaller with a piercing gaze? Is my nose sharp and defined or more soft and rounded? And are my lips full and soft or thin and defined? Now I'm going to walk you through what I notice about my own facial features. I have a slightly elongated face shape, and I am seeing a bit of angularity with some softness in my facial features. I have high cheekbones with a blunt jawline. My eyes are on the larger side and round with a slightly distant gaze. My nose appears balanced and my lips are thin and delicate. Once you have a more objective view of your facial features, you can then begin to compare your faces to each of the different essences. So next step, starting with the dramatic essence, I want you to compare your face with the descriptions and examples. You can copy and paste your photo into the middle and ask yourself if it looks like your face belongs. Do this for all 7 essences and write down which essences align with your facial features. If you're struggling with this, start with the process of elimination. Eliminate all of the ones you know don't work and keep the rest.
In this next step, we're going to take a look at photo 2, your smiling photo, to assess which essences you give off based on your expression and your overall energy.
Pause the video here and determine which essences align with the energy you give off in your smiling photo.
In the next step, we are going to choose our essences based on our personality. So you're going to see our essences categories with a bunch of words underneath. I want you to circle all of the words that resonate with you. And the more words that you have circled for each essence, the more likely it is that that essence will feel in alignment.
Pause the video here to work on this step.
The next step is to choose your essences based on your current style preferences. So there is a link below to my Pinterest boards, and I have a separate board for each essence. So I just want you to take a look at the essence and overall think, do you love the outfits? Are you immediately like, no way? So decide which essences you are drawn to and write those down. Now that you've explored all of the ways to identify your style essences, let's put it all together.
The first step is to identify your dominant essence. So refer back to all the methods we just went through: facial structure, energy, personality, and style preferences. Which essence showed up the most consistently? That's likely your dominant essence, the one that defines your overall presence the strongest. For example, if your facial features are structured and striking, your personality is bold, and you naturally gravitate towards sleek, high contrast outfits, you might have a strong dramatic essence. On the other hand, if your features are delicate, you are spiritual and mysterious, and you love flowing fabrics, your dominant essence could be ethereal. Step number 2 is to identify your secondary essences. As a reminder, most people aren't just one essence, we're a blend. If you notice other essences showing up in your facial features, personality, or clothing preferences, that's likely a secondary essence that adds depth to your style. For example, you might have a classic bone structure, but a fun, expressive personality that brings in some gamine energy. Or maybe you have a strong natural essence, but a touch of romantic in the way you loved soft, draped fabrics. Your secondary essences help refine your look and give you options to play with. Now, what if you've identified an essence, but it just doesn't feel right? For example, maybe your facial structure suggests classic, but you feel uncomfortable in polished, refined looks. Or maybe you see elements of romantic, but soft, draped styles don't feel like you. First, trust your instincts. Style is about self-expression and not rigid rules. While facial structure is a helpful guide, your personality, energy, and personal taste all matter just as much. Here's what to do. Rely on your other essences. If your dominant essence doesn't feel like a perfect fit, check your secondary essences. You might find that one of your secondary essences is actually the one you connect with more. 2, adjust the expression of that essence. Every essence has a range. If dramatic feels too bold, you might prefer a softer, more minimal take on it. If gamine feels too high contrast, you can lean into its playful, youthful energy in a subtler way. Number 3, prioritize how you feel. The goal of this process isn't to force yourself into a category, it's to help you refine what feels natural and authentic to you. If a style recommendation doesn't spark excitement or confidence, it's okay to let it go. At the end of the day, style essences are just a tool to help you understand what works for you. You get to decide how you use them.
Once you know your essence blend, then it's all about finding ways to incorporate your essences into your outfits. So here are some ways to do that.
The first step is to assess your current wardrobe. What clothing items and accessories do you have that align with your essences? Next, start to put together outfits with your essences in mind. In addition to your clothes, find ways to incorporate your essences, for example, with accessories or choosing hairstyles and makeup that align. Then, when shopping, ask yourself if the item you're interested in aligns with any of your essences. Lastly, lean into specific essences based on the occasion. For example, for casual days, consider leaning into your dominant or most natural essence. For professional settings, depending on your job, you might lean into classic and dramatic essences if those are in your blend, especially if you need more polished or structured looks. Or you may opt for a more subtle expression of essences like gamine or ethereal. Lastly, in terms of evening wear or special events, you might choose romantic and ethereal essences as they shine in dressier, more elegant settings, or you may find ways to elevate your other essences to fit the occasion. Another fun option is to ask ChatGPT for some help. You can copy and paste this or a similar statement into ChatGPT. I did this for my essences, and ChatGPT gave me a bunch of styling recommendations. You can see here it included recommendations for accessories, and I love using accessories to incorporate my essences. Now let's take a look at some examples of outfits for different essence blends. In example 1, you can see options for someone who is a blend of ethereal, ingenue, and romantic. Example 2, you can see gamine, classic, and dramatic. I like that although they share the same essence blend, the vibe of these outfits are pretty different. And this highlights how you might adjust the expression or intensity of a single essence within your essence blend to either match your personality, mood, or the occasion. The final example is my essence blend, natural, dramatic, and ethereal. And these happen to be outfits that I actually own and wear regularly. And you can see here how I lean into a certain essence more, like in look 2, I am leaning into the dramatic essence a bit more, and outfit 3, I was leaning into the natural essence.
Now I want to hear from you. What is your essence combination? Were you surprised by it? Do you feel like it aligns with your personality? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and check out my other videos on color analysis, how to find your best makeup shades, and Alison Bornstein's 3-word method. Subscribe to continue your style journey with me, and I hope to see you in the next video.